that your body is your guide. I'm just leading and inviting you into poses, but your body knows best. So always listening to that. And with that being said, I love to share these little insights. And I really rely on this book so much. It's like my daily go to, A Year of Living Your Yoga. I have all these things that I resort back to all the time, but this is one of my faves. And this one is, with what attitude today do you challenge your body? In order to find balance between the need to challenge yourself and the need to nurture yourself, please choose this mantra for daily living when you practice your asana, which is a fancy word for postures, poses, your movements. I will move at the speed of my body and not my brain. I love that because sometimes we think like we have to do something a certain way or look a certain way and we stop listening to what our body's feedback is. So let's make that our simple mantra for today. I will move at the speed of my body and not my brain, or not something we're seeing or thinking of. Okay, my friends, are we ready to get started? Let's head on back to our mats. We're going to start in a relaxed posture today called Child's Pose. You probably already know this one, but I really love when we start class like this because it's a reminder that we can come back here anytime we're feeling overstimulated, overstretched, just like we want to take a breather. Relaxed Child's Pose. We can put a pillow under our belly or under our buns, and we settle our foreheads down towards our mats or on a pillow, and our arms reach straight back behind us. We're going to ask our arms to do absolutely nothing. Just let them be really heavy back here. You're welcome to turn to one temple or the other so that you can get a nice neck stretch. And as you're beginning, you say in your Child's Pose and breathe. I just wanted to open up the possibilities of really focused breath practice today. So as you're pausing, slowing down, and finding your Child's Pose posture, notice your belly rising against your thighs. Notice your ribs expanding, your back body hopefully floating up and then releasing. Really become in tune with those subtle body movements, not just in your beginning posture, but please try to revisit those sensations in your breath in every move we make. Your heart and your breath know exactly how to take care of you. All you have to do is arrive in the present moment, listen, simply breathe, and soften in. And when I say listen, I don't mean to me. I should clarify. I mean listen to your body, please. So another intention would be, may I give my full breath and physical body to this practice today. May this practice be beneficial to me as I follow my breath and my body. Yogis, although we are many in class today, let's join our breaths as one. Reaching our arms overhead, this is extended Child's Pose, and start to really claw at your mat, waking up your wrists. Wiggle fingertips a little bit further forward if you can, and pull your hips back so much that you feel your shoulder blades lifting and rising away from hip bones. One more big breath in. Walking hands over to the right with left hand maybe landing on top of right, and then bow your nose back down between your elbows, stretching out our left side bodies. Fingertips walk the other way. Right hand may land on top of left, and then we press out through our right hips to get a beautiful right side body stretch. Drop down just a bit deeper through your face. See if we can get heavier in the upper body. Walking right back into the center, but this time rise up to your shins. Excuse me. If it's too hard for you to sit on your shins, it's okay to sit down on the floor with your buns, or you can just cushion up because we're going to do those crazy fist pumps. If you haven't been with me for this yet, this is the weirdest challenge. It seems like such an easy thing to do, but all of a sudden you're like, whoo, hands on fire. So we're stretching out overhead. If this becomes too much, you're welcome to do it in the front where close to body is the easiest place. Try to stay up and overhead and then wiggle your shoulders out so they're a little relaxed. Then flare your fingers open and squeeze them tight into a fist. Do it again and again. And all you have to do is go as fast as you can, but you're going to make a conscious effort to breathe. Slow down and breathe. And then it feels kind of like a walk in the park in the beginning, but all of a sudden, it's like you've lost motor control. You can barely pump your fists anymore. At that moment, continue breathing. Soften in, relax your facial muscles. Center your body, tell yourself something positive like, I know I've got this, I've done harder things. Simply breathe. We have 4 more seconds, yogis. Stay strong. Wake up your forearms and wrists. Last 3 pumps. 2 and 1. Hands come down, they float forward. Wow, feel those tingles. That's so nice, right? Reach to me. I'm going to show you from the side. Shoulder flossing. Try to keep your belly in really tight here. And then pull your shoulders back, press them forward. Shoulders back, shoulders forward, like dental floss, okay? So think about it coming straight back the tooth and beginning at the front, back and front. Okay, so you can stay up here and shoulder floss. It's a bit easier without any pressure or weight on our shoulders. But if you feel like you have the rhythm down and you know what you're doing, come on down to tabletop. Try to floss this way. So remember, we're gonna go back and forward, back and forward. Now, belly is still in here. When we sag through our belly, our low back is really compromised. So we pull in to support the base of the spine, and we floss with a little bit of weight in our shoulders. Now, the further I lean back, the easier I make this. If I'm really trying to warm up, I start to creep my shoulders forward. And when I get in front of my fingers, that's going to be the most intense place. Let's take 3 more big breaths in as slowly as you can. You're welcome to tuck your toes here to get a little bottom of foot stretch and wake that area up. We're going to go for 1 more big breath. And then pause, circling the shoulders. Again, if this feels too much with the weight in your tabletop, feel free to just come on up and circle with bent elbows or big open arms. I want you to feel great in your yoga practice. So if something doesn't feel great, please do find a way to modify. Now, I don't know about you guys, but are you able to go the other way? I cannot physically roll my shoulders forward. I can only go one way. So if you can, switch direction. I'm still trying that. It doesn't work. And we're going to take 1 more big shoulder circling breath in and out. All right, yogis, crouching back. Tuck your toes if they're not yet. Press your hips back and lift your knees. Then drop them back down. Crouch back, then drop. Warming up wrists, shoulders, and now into our Achilles, our ankles, our feet. 1 more crouch back after this, but pause. Pause in your crouch, and then swing your knees to the right and the left. Maybe just a little bit, working into the low back. Then rise up through your hips and tiptoe walk your feet forward to fold. All right, yogis, if you want to grab props, if the floor in your place is built way too low for your liking, grab some props, books, yoga blocks, pillows, anything that boosts your floor up. This is a great time to use them. We're going to begin with some breath. Inhale, arms rise high to sky. Any way that feels good, straight up your midline or wide, and the same thing down. Let's just roll back down any way your arms feel good. I encourage you, continue breathing in and breathing out. I encourage you to visit all different options. So we're going to try to move our arms in lots of different ways today. Remember that there's no wrong way to move. And I really want you to be expansive and spread out into your area, like really take up space. Forward fold and hold. Heel toe your feet wider and turn your toes out a tiny bit so that you're able to squat down. Power squat would be hips above knees, or yogi squat, heels down. Forward fold from here. Roll back up. Same thing. Let's use our arms how we want to use our arms. Back into any squat. Stop above knees, or if your hips will allow, come low. This may take a while to find it. Or roll back up. Twice more, yogis. Exhale as you lower. Inhale as you rise. Exhale, lower. Inhale, rise. Stay at the top. Arms lift. Lift your left heel and swing down to the right side. Come back to center. Lift your right heel. Swing down. Rise up. Left heel lifts. We swing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Move with your breath. Think about fully inspiring yourself as you breathe in. Really invigorating. Getting focus and energy for the day ahead. And then as you exhale, getting rid of anything that's not serving us. Love and exhale with a big old sigh. Feels so good. Just get rid of it. We have one more each side. Okay, so that's big for the shoulders, right? Stay at the top. Let your fingertips float down like raindrops and lift your left heel again. Swing around to the right. Lift right heel, swing to the left. So this is going to be for our low backs. Keep your eyes down once you know what you're doing so that you're kind of hunkered in your chest. Notice how I'm like leaning a little bit. I'm just letting myself fall into this ragdoll rhythm. And if you feel great where you are, stay, but you're welcome to drop into a little lunge. That slows things down a bit, but it gets us a little bit more warmed up and heated in our legs. Now, once again, we're just going for this like swinging, flinging, releasing motion in our arms. And every once in a while, you may get like a little, you might clap your back, like kind of get like a little slap there. That's good, because that means you really released in your arms. Just let them fling against your body. So these last two moves are Tai Chi inspired exercises, which I love to warm up our yoga class with. Let's take 4 more breaths, as many swings as it feels good in those breaths. The pivot's really important so that we protect our knees and our joints as we warm up. 2 more big breaths. And sometimes it takes a while to slow down once you get this energy going. So you slow down. As long as it takes is totally fine. There's never a rush. Bring your feet back together. Feel that energy? Sometimes it feels cool or like tingly. That's beautiful new energy you brought into your fingertips. Arms rise, any way you feel good. Exhale, forward fold. Take a big step back with your right leg, but try to control it and go as slowly as you can using your muscles. And speaking of hips, let's get into them. Dropping either all the way to the floor with your right knee or part of the way, and then just move a little bit. Shift around, forward and back. You might like to lift up and down. You might like to circle, making some movements with our hips. I mainly want to think about my right hip flexor, the front of the hip here, and really getting deeply open in there. Dropping right knee to the floor, letting your hips shift back, and then walking fingers under shoulders to see how lifted I can get in my upper body. Soft in left knee. Now see how your toes are flexed. If they're pointing in, we're going to try to square our toes to fully left to right, stretch across the backs of our legs. Shift back forward, take a big breath in, and let's pull back to rolling cat-cows. Our knees come together. Hands come under shoulders. Exhale all of your air out in an angry cat. Arch your back to the sky. Inhale, coming into cow, navel to floor. Tailbone top of head to sky. So you roll through using your breath. Big, full exhalation. Big, full inspiration. And then try to make it groovy. Press your ribs around. Bend your elbows. Move through your shoulders and your neck. Pause anywhere that feels really good. Consider tucking your toes for a little extra oomph. 2 more breath rounds here. Have you ever heard the phrase, and you can fill in your own word at the end, but you're only as young as your spine is flexible? You know, you could change that to as your spine is long or your spine is able to be articulated. But no matter what, spinal fluidity is the key to a happy, long life, in my opinion. When you're done with that last round of breath, downward facing dog, tuck your toes, scoop your hips up and back, and then draw your navel in as you drop chin to chest. Eyes up towards navel. Gigantically bend your knees and see how much longer you can make your spine. Then you're welcome to start to straighten your knees higher in the thighs, pressing heels down, and make any adjustments that would feel really good here. I want you to think about pressing the base of your thumb deeply down into the mat, and biceps roll forward. That's the front of the upper arm. Roll those forward as your triceps roll back, opening the shoulders. Rolling forward into plank. Try to make that angry cat shape again if you can. Drop to knees if you would like, and just lower 1 inch and hold. Tops of feet are down if knees are dropped. Lower 1 inch and hold. If this is very challenging, bring your knees under your hips, lower another inch. We should be almost to our elbows. Let's go 1 more tiny inch, pause. Come to the floor, yogis. We made it, good work. Peel your elbows back towards your spine, really snuggle them inward. Lift your toes and squeeze your big toes together. Hover your fingers. Let's try to lift our knees and thighs. Lift the bottom of our ribs. That's really hard to do. One more breath in full locust posture. Breathe in. Exhale, release. Well done. Press back to downward facing dog. Not long here this time, don't worry, but I want to get a little bit of love for our calves. Squeeze your calves in towards your shins. Squeeze up through the heels, calves in. Press back and lengthen. Up through the heels and down. Twice more. You're welcome to bend your knees if your hamstrings are really tight, the backs of your legs. Breathing as we move. Inhale. Exhale. Right leg rises. Take a breath in. Push as long as you can. We always want to go longer rather than higher. Length is the name of our game today. Look towards your right thumb tip and angry cat. Crunch your knee forward. See if you can land in between your thumbs. Hey, look, we're back where we started. We get to move our hips. Kneeling lunge or elevated. Let's move a little bit through our hips. Now, our bodies are not symmetrical, so we can't expect the same thing on every side. Don't worry about what you did earlier. Just do what feels good now. The power of now. So we're going to focus on the breath in our practice. One more time through. Shift your hips back, half split. Walk fingertips under your shoulders. I like to lift my front toes. You can plug yours into the earth, whatever works. Just make sure if they're lifted, they're square and your right knee is soft. Then get light on fingertips and long, energetic, and really alive in your side bodies. Ah, that's nice, isn't it? Come forward. Lift your back leg really light. Float it up if you can, or drag it in towards your forward fold. Deeply drop your head, crown to earth, chin to chest. Rise to the sky. If you have tendencies in your low back to be kind of pained or have a little bit of tension, walk up your body. Give yourself support in the time to rise. Inhale, lift. Let's try one more round to warm our bodies. Exhale, release. Float to the earth. Forward fold. Your left leg takes a long lunge back, but this time we're finding warrior one. Turn your back toes out about 15 degrees and land the blade edge of your foot. Now find some energy and aliveness in your ribs and climb up to your right thigh. You can stay right here or lift your body overhead. Now, can you see my hips, how they're open? If I'm able to swivel them forward, that's great. If I can't, step wider, and then you'll find the ability to swivel. Feels so nice and freeing. So we're in this warrior one. Arms are rising if possible. And then we're sinking down into the right knees. Now notice what that does to the back leg. Try to pull energy up through the inseam. Press your blade edge down. Energize your back arch. Feel the lift. Beautiful. Hands clasped behind low back. Right thumb on top. Take a big lift in your chest. And as you do, notice, am I thrusting or am I just lifting? We want to lift from the heart. Belly in. Low back should feel supported. One more big breath in here. And if your moment is arriving, your body's letting you in, drop down. You're welcome to stay high, but feel the power in your right thigh. See if your body will take you here to a lower place, a stronger place, and a longer place today. Knuckles press back. Soften your elbows. Last breath in. Let's rise to release our arms. Come down the way we came in. Hands to front thigh. Rotate back toes in. Place hands around front foot and find your rolling cat-cows. I like to drop my back knee. Knees meet and then we roll through. I empty first. Big exhalation. In angry cat. Then you get a bigger in-breath when you roll into your cow. Remember, we can make it fun and funky by swirling around through our cat-cows, pressing forward and back. Ooh, hear that big pop? Sometimes we get those awesome little pops, and I always like to thank my body for that. I'm like, oh good, new space. One more round of breath. When you're ready, tuck all 10 toes, scoop your hips up and back. Stay with big bent knees if that feels best. Take a pause here, guys. You're welcome to move and groove through down dog. When you're ready for your next inhalation, roll forward in plank. We're only lowering twice this time, so slowly making it down towards our elbows. Chest comes through, knees can drop, maybe an inch or two. Maybe an inch or two. When you're at your elbows, pause for a second. Lower to the earth. Good. Find that full locust again. Press your toes out. Take your fingers wide so you can get really anchored in through hip bones. Then lift toes, knees, and thighs. Squeeze together. Hover fingertips. Squeeze elbow points together. And extend your fingers out on this one, like airplane wings. Get a little bit longer. Pull top of head away from tailbone. One more breath. Float up like you're riding a wave. Float up on your balloon breath. Exhale, release. Come on, back down dog. If it takes a second to get there, no rush, yogis. One breath once we've all arrived in downward facing dog. Thinking about pressing base of thumb down, spiraling biceps forward, triceps back. Next inhalation lifts our left leg. And remember, we care the most about pushing back. Really go long behind you. Looking forward. Aim for that left thumb tip. Crunch under your belly, angry cat style. Landing our foot. If we need a little help, grab your ankle and help it through. And then we're finding warrior one on this side. Land, back blade edge. Toes turned out about 15 degrees, right? Energized side bodies, get bellies in. So we're feeling lit up in the core. Rise to left thigh. Stay here. Or rise all the way overhead. And then just check in with your hips. Some of us have the body awareness that we can tell if we're adjusted correctly. But manual check-ins are awesome because then you're like, oh no, right, I'm facing that way. So when that happens, if you can't swivel, widen, left to right. And you can swivel. Isn't that nice? Pull up through the inner inseam of the right leg and the arch. Press blade head down. Nice. Rise up. Take a huge breath in. Lift through ribs like you're climbing a ladder, but sink in your left knee. Left thumb on top, come on behind. Soften your elbows as you extend. We tend to go like this, pop and lock. So we want to soften and just like press energy. Doesn't have to be a full extension there. All right, you're welcome to stay. This is a pretty beautiful place to be. Or you can load your warrior one. Come forward, press the top of your head to knee. If it gets too intense once you've arrived, bring hands to thigh and prop yourself up a little bit here, but lots of beautiful flowing breaths. Next breath in rises us to the sky, big, beautiful one. Turn your back toes in so your knee is happy as you float over the left thigh. Back leg steps in. Try to give it a little boost, a little floaty ride. And then land down. Tuck your chin to your chest. Completely wrinkle free in the back of your neck and give your head a little shake no. Shake it, yes. That can get us a little lightheaded, yogi, so be careful as you rise. Next inhalation, we slowly lift, supporting the low back maybe by giving a little swing and a little sway. Those are so nice. Okay, let's add on. Arms elevate overhead. Remember, lifting front ribs, back ribs, belly in, really straight like an arrow, as opposed to this one where we fling open. Big breath. Exhale, release. Float to forward fold. Let that breath go fully. Really enjoy that out breath. Right leg steps back. Slow control here. Touchdown softly. From your lunge, rotate to warrior two. Right toes are turning out a little more than we just did for warrior one. I like to windmill my arms, but anyway, you can get your arms up. Remember, take up space. Really find it. Left knee bends. Same energy on the inside of right leg that we just found before. Right away, we're going to straighten our left leg to triangle pose. We're going to go back and forth here. Fingertips come towards the inner left calf. And these are all optional. If it's too tough with arm overhead, we can bring it anywhere, even right to our heart. Come right back into warrior two. Eye gaze floats down, left fingertips in warrior two. Rise, left knee high into thigh, triangle pose. And then warrior two. Let's add a little bit of a variation on. Inhale, triangle. Right arm drops behind us. So this is a nice modification to enable us to open more. When arm is overhead and it's heavy, it's tough to open, right? When we drop it, oh, I can even place my hand on my top shoulder and help myself rotate open. Same thing in extended warrior two. Let's come out. Extend warrior two. Top arm, or float it down towards your left inner thigh. See that there? You want to wiggle in there and try to hold on. 2 more like that. Warrior 2. Triangle pose. Find the right arm anywhere you like it. Now you know all of your options. Wherever you are, chest is open, breath is really full. Warrior 2. Sink, extend, rise, or release. Good job, folks. One more big breath in, finding our way back to warrior 2. This time, windmill back down. Rotate back toes in as you do. Windmill down. You can choose to skip your vinyasa anytime, or we can press straight back to downward facing dog. We're gonna opt out of those rolling cat-cows. Give us a little more time in dog. Roll forward on your next in-breath. No pause this time, just bringing our chest right on down to our elbows, slow with control, just like we learned. Then slowly to the earth. Ooh, that's a big, strong movement there. Full upper locust, but this time we're gonna find a parachuter. So reach the arms all the way overhead if possible. Toes, knees, and thighs are lifted, upper body's lifted. And then pull everything back. Goalpost arms, heel towards buns, like a parachute was just lifted above you and it's pulling you back up. Inhale, like you're jumping out of an airplane. Pull your ripcord, inflate your parachute. Twice more like that. Breath in. Breath out. One more. Breathe in as you extend. Really push fingertips and toes. And then exhale, come back. This time stay, yogis. Squeeze up a little more. Squeeze shoulder blades towards spine. Squeeze big toes together. And release. Ah, good work. Press back. Downward facing dog, but you're welcome to stop along the way and stretch. When you're in dog, enjoy one breath with all of the movements that make you feel beautiful. Right leg elevates. Take a breath in. Stepping forward and through. Now remember what we're going to do. Same thing we just did. So finding warrior 2. Rotate left blade edge down. Wherever you want your arms to find warrior 2. I love to windmill up. And then sink in. Find space. Spread your wings. Triangle pose. Let's let the right fingers fall. Left arm as if your angels are guiding you up. Really energetic in the right side body. Try that again. Warrior 2. Eye gaze over right fingers. Exhale into triangle. Let's make it a little different for the last 3. Do you remember? Warrior 2. Coming into triangle, but the top arm this time might choose to drop down around low back. It can just rest. Or you can wiggle down around the corner for your right inner thigh. Eye gaze anywhere, but this gives us the opportunity to really peel open our chest. Lots of room to breathe now. Warrior 2, extended warrior 2, right forearm down, left up, and then drop around your low back. Again, might reach for my right inner thigh there. That gives me a big shoulder stretch. Try that again, warrior 2. Triangle. This top arm is just an option. You feel what's great for you today. I really love to put my hand on my chest and kind of guide it open there and just give yourself some loving attention. Last round, warrior 2, rebend right knee. Extended side angle with your top arm optionally dropping. One more big breath back to warrior 2. Windmill the arms all the way down, but rotating back toes in as we travel. Somehow getting back foot forward. See if you can make it a light lift and a float down. Deeply forward folding. Bend your knees as much as it feels necessary. And then find your way back to the sky in a new way. Maybe we rock and roll. Maybe we flat back extend. That's really tough. But it might feel very empowering to do that. Rise to sky. Okay, for those of us that were here in the very beginning of class, we talked about a hip move called humble warrior. Here it's coming, guys. Forward fold. Your left leg starts the journey this time. Slowly, with control, stepping straight back. And remember that we're coming into warrior 1 here. So the same thing we started with, about 10 degrees coming out, with toes, back blade edge pushing down, rise to sky. And I want you to get really settled in your hips. Check. Can you swivel? If you can't, widen. Wider base here is going to be a lot easier. And I'm going to show you where we're going, unless you already know this posture. Arms are coming overhead. Clasp behind your low back. Chest is lifting. We've been here before, but the option to add on is the humble warrior. Right shoulder sneaks inside right knee, coming down, 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 long. And then I may even drop my whole crown to the floor. My knuckles rising to the sky. Paying special attention to your hips as you lower. We're going to start to really feel hamstrings, outer thigh, so lower a little bit at a time. See where you are. If this doesn't feel great, you're welcome to put your fingertips under your shoulders and bow your head this way. You don't have to add on those crazy arms overhead. Let's take 2 breaths wherever you are, even if you're just loading your warrior one. This is wonderful and strength building. Rise back to where you came from. Inhale, back toes in. Frame out the right foot. Press back to downward facing dog, and you choose. Do I want a vinyasa here, or do I need to take a little break and breathe? Come forward with me on the in-breath if you are rolling through your flow. Out-breath for chaturanga. In-breath for any back bending option. We had baby cobra. We had full locust, everything floating up. We used airplane arms, and we used our parachuters. Find one of those options and really squeeze back. Ride that wave of your breath up and down. Ah, good job, guys. Press back, downward facing dog. Whew. Okay, here we go on the other side. Left leg elevates. Take a gigantic breath in. Push long, push longer. Crunch in through and find your warrior one. Turning right toes out. Land your blade edge. Rise to sky. And then sink into the power of your warrior one. See it in your mind's eye. Where are your hips? Are you able to bring right hip point more forward? Do we need to make any adjustments? That's going to be the key to being able to fold straight down inside our knees. When you're ready, clasp behind low back. See if this is going to work. Chest rises. Start to lower. I might want to sneak my left shoulder inside my left knee. Stay right there. Check into your outer thigh, your hamstring. How does it all feel? If it's asking you to come a little deeper, rise to the sky with knuckles, top of head to floor. And if all of that is too much, you're welcome to drop your fingertips underneath your shoulders or stay in loaded, like we're folded halfway, warrior one. 2 breaths, yogis. Last inhalation. On the exhalation, rise, turn your back toes in, lift everything up, reach arms overhead, and greatest news ever, you're done all your vinyasas. Congrats. All we're gonna do is step this back leg into chair pose. We're gonna make it a wide one today. So notice that my toes are just under my hips. They're not in close like normal. We're gonna take it really wide and sink down low. Bring hands through heart center. Take left elbow across your body and try to tap it down to your right knee. Inhale back to center, just some twists here. Right elbow across your body and tip it down towards left knee. It's okay if you're not tapping your knees at all. We could just twist and tip a little. Center, twist and tip a little. Don't forget that you're in chair, or otherwise known as intense pose, so we're making it intense. Fire up your thighs. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. One more each way, yogis. And on this one, when you get back to your left elbow, reaching towards your right knee, you're either staying floating in space in a twist, or you're connecting, pressing your palms to lift, and taking eye gaze over right shoulder. Intense pose, twist. One more breath. Wiggle through your toes, wiggle the tip of your nose and your earlobes, free up where you can, smile across your face, or visualize one in your mind's eye. Brings a little lightness to the practice. Center we go. That was tough, yes? Before we move on, I have one little trick for you. Heels rise. Not necessary. And you can also alternate heels if both won't lift at the same time, but try to stay for 2 breaths. Chest rises, belly turns on. Last breath. Heels back down. Right elbow across body. It may connect to left knee. It doesn't have to. I'm just gonna stay here for 3 breaths. If I'm connected, I'm gonna press my palms together to lift my sternum up towards my thumbs, and eye gaze travels past your left elbow. Long in your sides, recognizing the aliveness, the truth of the moment. We woke up healthy, strong, and beautiful. We were able to get to a yoga class. That's pretty amazing. One more breath in. On the exhalation, back to center. Take your hands behind you and do this. Thumbs together. Fan your butterfly fingers out, butterfly hands right behind you, and then watch what your chest does. That's so nice, right? Open your chest. Stay in chair. I know my thighs have bonfires shooting out of them. You're not alone if you're feeling it. Lift your heels, last challenge. Alternating heels is great. No heels is great too. You're getting strong and you're opening. That's all that's important. Connect with breath. Last one. At the bottom of that exhale, heels melt down, arms rise, forward fold. Well done, yogis. You can literally take your hands and massage your thighs. That's such a nice relief after a good stretch like that. All right, I'm proud of you. Take your right leg back. Again, step really softly, please. And we're coming into hip stretch, wide lizard lunge. So take hands inside left toes, and then you can choose if you want to drop your right knee or not. But I definitely would recommend a little padding or soft cushioning under there. And then your left toes wiggle out to a point that feels really big and wide for you. Really good in the pelvic bowl, pulled up and under there. This is a great place to be. You don't have to add anything onto this posture, but we're going to do some fancy stuff if you want to join me. All right, so first and foremost, does your back kneecap hurt? If you're on the kneecap, walk your toes back. So you want to get on this like little meaty pad, more on the top of your kneecap, okay? So I'll show you that. If I'm right here, it just hurts. It feels so bad. So you want to walk back so you're more on that front meaty pad, and you can kind of play around back there and it's not so gnarly. All right, my friends, let's twist open. Left fingertips stay down. Right arm rises somewhere. Could be to our hips, the side wall, or the sky. And if you feel really constricted here, you're welcome to take your left hand out or left hand towards your knee. Remembering to find places that you can free up, focusing on our breath, staying with our practice, or maybe wiggling through fingers, wiggling through your left toes. Top arm down, same thing, other arm, lift up to the leg, the hip, side wall, or the sky. I really like to put my right hand out wide here because it becomes a little bit of a back bend. So you want to give yourself the opportunity to really open. Take another big breath in. Dropping down. Your right hand might want to stay right where it is. We're going to attempt to open up through our front knee. Now watch my ankle. As my foot falls out, my ankle stays really strongly flexed underneath. Here's what I don't want you to do. Look how it turns into a banana shape. We don't want that. It's so bad for our ankles. So strongly flex your foot. And then if you think you want to press out a little bit, use your hand, or you can just let your leg fall out if that works for you. I like to use my hand because then my chest and back gets this awesome stretch. So we kind of use our hands to press out and then open to the sky. That's nice, isn't it? If your back knee is unhappy, make sure you're making it super comfy. We shouldn't have to worry about that. One more big breath in. All right, the best is yet to come. Lizard, coming back to normal. Let's take our lizard, hands come back into the center, and we either just let our hips like really melt down here, or we come to our forearms. You can elevate your back knee if the knee was down. And this is the nice part, just kind of chill out, but know that you don't have to stay still. Like I like to rock forward and back, kind of feeling my way into my hips, side to side. And then you might find a spot where your body's let you in and you're like, okay, time to rest for a few breaths. If this is too much, we're too low down here, welcome to use our cushions or our blocks to build the floor up and stay up really high. One more big breath in. On the exhalation, yogis, if you stepped your back knee out too far that you feel like you can't step back together, wiggle it in, or you can draw your front foot in. We're going to step back into our yogi squat that we visited in the beginning of class. Power squat is good too. This is power squat. Or yogi squat all the way down. And give yourself that moment to just kind of move. Maybe lift your heels. Maybe move through the back and the shoulders. Forward fold again. You can stay wide just like you are here. And let's do the same on the left leg. It steps back with lots of control. Hips feel pretty lit up, yes? A little bit feisty down there. And then you choose, am I going to land my knee, shin, and top of left foot? Whatever. Feeling that little pad on the top though, if you want to walk out, or pad it up so you're really comfy. You can stay lifted the whole time. It's completely up to you. And then once you get ready, lift a little bit in the pelvic floor, lift your belly so we're able to twist safely. Let's twist away. Right fingertips stay down. Remember, they could come out here too. We're up to our knees. Left arm comes somewhere. If you twist your eye gaze towards your fingertips and your neck is like, ow, let it go, okay? Just keep your eyes down. We always want to listen to our necks. Most times if we're really long in our sides, we can safely explore those options and take our eye gaze to a new place. I always like to wiggle my top fingers. It makes me feel like I'm freeing something up and just letting go somewhere I don't need tension. Top arm comes down. You choose where you want it. I like to go really wide. And then the same thing with the right. We're going to twist towards our right knee now. Now really open out, especially your left ribs. Can you pull them far away from your left hip? Even if you think you feel really good in one position, I always invite you to change that. Move your neck, swish your hips, move your shoulder somewhere new, find all of the options. Top arm falls back down, and we're gonna see if we wanna let our right knee drop open, remembering that we're gonna strongly flex foot, so no banana ankles, and the right knee might drop open with or without support. I personally like to push on it, because then you get this big chest, big back opening. Come into that however it feels great for you today. Nice stretch in the belly, and boy, if you don't feel your left hip flexor, give it a little more push, and then it really lengthens out up in that psoas. A lot of us that have tender low backs are really tight, maybe from sitting, maybe from our normal posture of a hunch a little bit, shortening that front hip flexor, and then that causes us to pull on the low back. So stretching out the front of our hips is a great remedy for low back pain. Plain vanilla, the OG of the lizards, is the best place in my opinion. Come on down, find a regular lizard, toes turn forward. We stay up high if we want, fingertips, or you can get really low and nestle in. Now, if you had your knees down this whole time, I really like to give knee a break, and then I lift my back knee up there. It's so good to push out for your heel and get super long and energized through the inside of your left hip. Try that. Lift your knee, push out. Let's take one more breath in here. We're gonna get to come off our hands. I know this is a lot for the wrists. Think about spreading your fingers and really gripping into the mat, getting one more last breath full of wrist building strength. And then this time we're gonna sit back, guys. So we're gonna bring our back knees down, draw our front leg back. Remember, this is a tender time. So you've just done a bunch of hip stretches. Don't expect it to be easy. Take your time. Gonna come on back to our buns. So if you bent your knees and you're on your shins, rock to one cheek. Try to make it graceful as you transition. And just a super beautiful position here. Left leg is forward or on top. So you're either just crisscrossed or in modified half lotus. If your legs are up here because you're tight, put pillows, sweatshirts, blankets, so that everything is connected to something else. And then scoot your buns around so both sits bones are in the floor and free of flesh. All right, now while you're here, you're gonna take your legs and try to press them down and forward at all times. Bring fingertips behind you, up and under collarbones. I want you to breathe big in here and big under your diaphragm. Try to lift up. Now press knees down and forward. That's how we open the hips. One more big breath in here. Walking hands forward, swivel left hand around to the right side, boost yourself up, and then twist over to the right. Eye gaze, really important in deepening our twists. If it looks a bit further to the right, that may feel really good. Let's do the same on the other side. Swivel, reach right arm around. Like remember, we're gonna take up space. I want you to really push away, lift to twist, We don't have to keep our back arm down. If you feel like you've got a super long, confident spine, lift up through your back arm. Knees are pressing down and forward. We're feeling that, right? It's not easy, but it's really helpful in getting a great stretch. Swivel eye gaze for your last breath. Come on back into the center. Just like a little spinal massage. Turn your body in any way. Sufi grinds from Kundalini Yoga. Switch directions, turn around the other way. And then drop like you're gonna fold and rise. So drop forward and rise. Try that again. 2 circles, 1 in each way. I let my hands just kind of float wherever they feel comfy for this one because I like to move them all over. Fold and rise. 2 more rounds like that, but really pull your belly in so you're supported. And make sure your sits bones aren't rising with every roll you take. Press sits bones down and anchor strong. If you feel healthy in your neck and it's not super cranky, you can try to like hang out and just whip your hair back and forth. Really freeing. Oh, feels so good. Exhale. Inhale. Well done, yogis. Lean back. Let your legs untangle themselves if they can. If they need help, undo them. And then let your feet and knees do whatever is asking you. Sometimes we like to stretch out, give a little jiggle. If your knees are tender after that, give them a massage. Windshield wipe, whatever works. When you're ready for the other side, we're gonna do it all over, which is the best part. We get to do it twice through on everything. Right leg in front, or right leg on top. Then kind of settle yourself in deeply so your sits bones are anchored. Pad up, cushion up as much as you need, and then press down into your supports and forward with your knees. Feel that right away, yes? Lean back, open heart. Settle in here for a second, knees pressing down and forward on every breath. Sit back upright. We're gonna stretch differently on this side. Left arm comes out, glue your right sits bone in, reach your right arm up and over, but then forward and just kind of like reach around, like you're fumbling for something in the dark. Kind of reach around. Feels good on your low back, hopefully. If you don't love all that movement, just stay. Switch when you're ready. Right hand down, left arm up, glue your left sits bone down. Stay in this beautiful lateral stretch or kind of fumble around here. Last big breath in. Come back to the center. And we are doing the Sufi grinds again because these are like my favorite thing ever. So we're gonna circle one way. Circle the other way. Come on, forward and rise. And it doesn't have to be anything big. You know, we're just kind of rewarding our back for all the hard work it does. So even little ones up at the top are really nice. Try to feel all the spots in your back, like you're hitting every little direction on a compass. Yeah, hopefully your back feels like it's sighing with relief right now. Exhale, rise. Last round. And remember, you're welcome to let your head and neck go too. Forward fold, rise up, lean back, try to let your legs do their own thing, whatever's floating your boat right here. My knees always feel a little cranky after a big bend like that, so I like to give them some love. I'll kind of give them a little jiggle and then a nice massage. You might just be feeling it in your hips, then you would want to wash your windows. Windshield wipe here. All right, my friends, this is the best yoga stretch ever. I'm about to let you in on a scary word, but a big secret after that. So we're gonna do half frog. I know frog isn't anybody's favorite, but once we get into frog, it gets a whole lot easier. So come on back to where we started, child's pose. And if you don't know how to flip a frog, I'm gonna show you. That sounds so funny. We're gonna come back into child's and watch me if you're unfamiliar with flipping your frog. Right knee is gonna come up. This is half frog. Pardon my dirty words, because I know frog is not a crowd pleaser. Heel is behind the knee. And then in this frog, we're threading the needle. So watch, I'm gonna take my left arm under, and here's what I want you to see me do so you can see me and don't hurt your neck looking. Right arm comes up. Here's how I flip my frog. I roll over. My right knee stays in half frog, but my chest is attempting to roll to the ceiling. Okay, so let me walk you through it. From child's pose, scoot forward like you're gonna do a chaturanga, and then bring your right knee up to touch your right elbow. Land the inside of that leg down. Belly is in as we're surrendering to our half frog. Right heel behind the right knee. Now you could just stay here if this whole thing is too much. But if you want to get a great back stretch, try to follow me. Left arm comes under. This is called thread the needle. And we're going to land our left temple towards the floor. You can stay here, frog thread the needle. Or my flippers, we're going to rise up with the right arm and start to flip around so that our right shoulder is coming towards the floor. Mine never makes it. We want to keep our right knee somewhere close to this half frog position. And then if you can, you're going to settle yourself down with your head. You can definitely grab props, pillows, whatever you need. It's really nice when your right shoulder is hanging because it feels so heavy and it's this awesome stretch on your pec and into your chest. And then once you've arrived, twists are hard to breathe through, so let's really slow down our breath. We're going to stay for a couple more breaths here, and an option for those of you that don't love the whole way we got into this, that was challenging. You can just lie on your back, take your right knee across your chest, and that's a beautiful spinal twist as well. Now getting out, we want to take it really slow. So reach up with your right arm. Let's just rewind exactly as we came in. Rethread your frog. Unthread your frog needle. Come back out just a half frog. If you're on your back, just simply take your knee back in and switch sides. And then you can choose just to let the leg come back or press back into child's pose, drawing it back in. Going for the same thing on the left side. If you were in your child's, shift forward left knee up towards the left elbow. Let it land belly in as you fall. Half frog. Maybe we just relax. Or we thread the needle, right arm comes under left, right temple towards the floor. And then to flip your frog, left arm rises. We start to roll around the corner so we get so heavy in that left arm. Most importantly, I like to try to get on the back of my head. That way you can just let your left arm hang, and the stretch is immense in the lower back, right? Not really one of those places you can get super cozy in and nap all day because it's so intense. So it's a really nice time to come back to our intention, letting breath be our guide. Trying 2 more soft, long breaths in here. No judgment, just kindness and compassion. If the breaths aren't as long as we'd like them, this is a tricky pose. And at the bottom of that last breath, we're going to lift our left arms. If you're on your backs and you've just chosen the spinal twist, take your knees to your chest and hug around the corner. Unwinding what we did. Back to thread the needle frog. Unthreading our frog needle back to half frog. And then somehow, some way, getting our legs back. For those of you that are on the back, stay. We're going to join you. And for those of us that were in our belly frogs, we're going to come back to child's. If you're leaving at 1:55 today, thank you so much for coming. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Friday and a great, great weekend. I can't wait to see you guys next week. When you feel ready, roll to your back gracefully. A little bit more inner thigh stretching, but this one much more innocent. Rolling down towards your mats. Bringing your knees in towards your armpits. So one hand on each kneecap. And once you get there, just let your knees fall open. Use the weight of your hands and arms. Straighten one leg, rebend. Straighten the other, rebend. Straighten and hold whichever leg you're on, and then play with moving heel towards bottom of mat, toes towards top of mat. Get this half straddle stretch, see where it feels really good. Rebend that leg, switch. You're welcome to come into whole straddle if you know your hips cooperate with that. That's a tricky posture, so I would take it slowly, especially after a big frog stretch. Play with toes up, heels down, see where your secret spot is for half straddle. Rebend, close knees a little bit up towards your armpits, And try to hold the bottoms of your feet for happy baby. Heels above your knees and act like you're stamping a full flat footprint on the ceiling. Once you get there, press down, either holding on to the backs of hamstrings or the inner outer edges of your feet, and then push back with your feet. So we're gonna get a little counter pressure. I'm pulling with my arms, but I'm pressing with my feet and my legs at the same time. Spreading out wide through shoulder blades and back. Tailbone long, top of head. Might be able to walk my scalp a little further away from my tail. One more breath in happy baby. And let's go outer thigh stretching to finish class today. Let go of happy baby, close knees, cross right knee on top of left for lying cow face. And then try to hold on to either knees or all the way down. I like to get the outside edges of my feet to close my heels towards my buttons, and then pull knees to chest. Oh, as soon as you do that, did you feel your right outer thigh all the way down into your glute? Really big stretch here. Remember, pull heels to butt with the power of your hands, or if you're holding onto your knees, pull your knees towards you, and then with the power of your belly and your legs, whoosh, squeeze your knees into your chest. That's a nice place to stay. If you have tons of time today on your lunch break, please stay longer. But if we have to get out of here right at 2 p.m., let's recross, left leg closest to body. Hold something so you can pull down towards your body. Heels to buttons if you have a hold of your feet, and then use your core to really suck knees to chest. Wow, big outer thigh on the left leg into the glute. Try to melt down through your shoulders, get really heavy in your arms. One more breath in here. One final stretch for us today, a big back stretch, hopefully giving you lots of energy. Let's uncross our legs and bring these together, this time into chest and hug in tight. We've been here before. But this time, when you bring your nose to your knees, as you're holding your shins, I want you to start to kick in. So normally I'm in this little tiny ball, right? Now I'm gonna kick my shins and I start to like rise out of my ball. So I'm getting this massive stretch through my back. I like to hug, but you don't have to. You can hold on to your shins. I hug on to my shins really tight and then kick in. Whew, it feels so good on the back. You get really rounded. Take one more big breath in. Letting go of your breath. Letting go of your little ball. Ooh, melts back into the floor and just rock side to side for a second. Don't make it just linear, side to side. You can make circles. We want to give our low backs a beautiful massage-y thank you for class today. And then when all that feels good, you can just roll to one side. Some of you may like to just rock toes to head and pop right on up to seated. Whenever you're ready, we're slowly making our way back to a kneeling. I like kneeling because I like to stretch out the tops of my feet, or a seated posture, you choose. And bringing your hands to our heart center in a simple sign of gratitude for our practice. I just wanted to get back to our intention from the beginning. Our hearts and our breaths know exactly how to take care of us in every moment that we're in. All we have to do is drop into the present moment, breathe, and remember our intention. May I give my full breath and physical body to my practice of life. May my practice be a benefit to me. Although we are one, let's rejoin our breaths as one. Excuse me. Although we are many, let's rejoin our breaths as one. A big inhalation through noses. A big exhalation through mouths. Yogis, the light in me honors, acknowledges, and is so happy and grateful to be with the light that is each and every one of you. Namaste, my friends. Have a wonderful weekend.